Okay, everyone, we're going to get started with our math lesson for today. So yesterday we talked about the metric system. So today we're going to use that system in conversions. So this should look very familiar to you. We used this yesterday in looking at the metric system. So let's go ahead and fill this in right now. Get my pen out. So remember, K stood for kilo, H stood for hecto, the first D is deca, the second D is going to be deci, C is centa, and M is milli. So all of this should kind of be review for you. We're going to go ahead and fill in those numbers. So let's start with meters. Do you remember what meters measure? Yep, it's going to be distance. So let's say we have kilometers. So that is going to be 1,000 meters for every 1 kilometer. And then for hectometers, we have 100 meters for every 1 hectometer. And then for decameters, it's going to be 10 meters for every 1 decameter. And then so for these last three, draw a line here. This is where our decimals are going to start. So this is going to be a change. So every 1 decimeter is going to be 0.1 meters, or 1/10 of a meter for every 1 decimeter. The next one is going to be 0.01 meters, or 1/100th of a meter for every 1 centimeter. And then our last one is going to be 0.001, or 1/1000th of a meter for every 1 millimeter. So all of this should be review. It's just good for us to go over it for now. So we're going to go ahead and practice our conversions. So this first one says, if I ran 2 meters, how many kilometers did I run? So remember, we always start with what we know. So the problem tells us that we ran 2 meters. So I'm going to go ahead and write down here 2m. And what's it asking for? It's asking for kilometers. So let's go over to our chart. And it looks like we're converting meters into kilometers. So looking at our chart, we can see that there are 1,000 meters in every 1 kilometer. So we're actually going to write these conversions like multiplication problems. And I know you know how to do those. So let's start here. We're going to be multiplying this by a fraction. So if we start with meters and we're jumping up to kilometers, we're actually going to be looking for a smaller number. So when we're looking for a smaller number, we put the big number on the bottom. So we said there are 1,000 meters for every 1 kilometer. So if we were to multiply this through, we would get 2 over 1,000. And we'll cancel out these m's, and we're left with kilometers. And 2 over 1,000 is going to be 0.002 kilometers. So that first one might have been a little tricky, but let's look at this next one. So this next problem says, if I ran 2 kilometers, how many meters did I run? So we're going to be working backwards, the other way from the last one. So this one gave us 2 kilometers. So I'm going to write 2 km down here, and we're looking for meters. So looking back at our chart, we see there are 1,000 meters, remember, for every 1 kilometer. So this time we're going to be looking for a bigger number. There are 1,000 meters for every 1 kilometer. So we're going to multiply. We're going to put the bigger number on top, since we're looking for a big number this time. So 1,000 meters for every 1 kilometer. And before we multiply, we can even cross these out. So now we won't be looking at kilometers, we're just looking for meters. And 2 times 1,000 is 2,000 meters. Perfect. So now this last one, I want you to try it on your own. It says, if Cassie drove 60 kilometers, how many meters did she drive? So I'll let you go ahead and try this one. You can pause the video. When you're all done, you can hit play. Welcome back. So looking at this problem, we can see that it was given to us that she drove 60 kilometers. So I'm going to write 60 km. And what are we looking for? Yep, we're looking for meters. So looking over here, remember 1,000 meters for every 1 kilometer. And are we going to be looking for a bigger number or a smaller number? Jumping from kilometers to meters, we are looking for a bigger number. So the big number goes on top. So 1,000 meters for every 1 kilometer. We'll cross these kilometers out, and hopefully you got 60,000 meters. And that's all we're going to do today for conversions. Tomorrow we're going to look at this a little more in depth, and we'll go from there. So thank you for watching, and I will see you tomorrow.